appears to be a wave, mystery in play, sounding like a whisper and a wave. Thought I heard you say, never hesitate, waiting for tomorrow, I won't weigh you down today. I can't get my thoughts straight.
He's John Ryan.
He is Jonathan Prince.
And we are Brutally Johnest.
All right, that was like slick, man. I think we're getting slicker as the weeks go by.
We are getting slicker as the weeks go by, although this is our 9th go at it, and I reckon we're probably still pointing in the wrong direction.
I reckon so. But what I have noticed is your hair. What happened to your head?
What happened to your head? That's such a... I love the way you put that there. I put my auntie in my bubble of
Right.
bubbliness.
So auntie, I knew that wasn't the girlfriend.
No. We haven't got there yet, man. But I will get there. We will get there. But so far, the doll still has the crazy doll hair that you saw previously.
The crazy doll. You still, mate. You can't cane roll your own head. I don't.
You can cane roll your own head. I'm going to prove.
No, you can't.
Oh, yeah. Right. Okay. Before we carry on, I've just got to talk to you about something. I actually want to praise the NHS big style because I had to get A&E last week, man. Don't want to give everyone.
Hang on. Is this because of your hair?
Not because of my hair.
Is that what happened? Let's go A&E because my hair was wild. I went there, but don't worry, we'll cane roll it.
Oh, right. So basically, right, I've got some issue with my jaw. Yeah, my left jaw keeps like dislocating.
Awkward.
And it is more than awkward. And I'm not supposed to laugh, sneeze, or yawn. So that's why we postponed this call yesterday, hoping that it would be a bit better today.
Fit, mate. Well, so you're not allowed to open your mouth and do anything with it.
I'll tell you what it is. The thing's called...
You're going to be a really rubbish cellmate for some bloke when you go to prison, mate. I'm telling you.
See?
That ain't a prison jaw.
See, now I'm going to have to keep a straight face throughout this whole thing, which is part of the funny, right? But it's this thing called temporomandibular joint disorder. So basically, the bit where your lower jaw reaches your upper jaw and they kind of meet there, there's some tendons and stuff. And for me, they're kind of broken at the moment.
So what's it again? Say it again.
Tempura. It sounds like something you get at a meal, doesn't it? Temporomandibular joint disorder.
Mate, I'm not kidding, right? When you said that, stuff started floating on my desk. It's like Harry. What's going on?
I'll have to reverse the spell, but I don't even know what the spell was. So yeah, man. Long and short, I don't know what's caused it. It could have been. They said it could have been a violent yawn, which is funny for me.
What's a violent yawn? Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I never even thought you could put violent and yawn together. But if you
you yawned and she punched you in the face. That's what happened. She was talking about, I miss my home and my family. And you went, you just went, boof. Take that.
Oh, half laugh. And it's so like
half laugh.
Half laugh. That means maximum funny, but
I like that.
Minimal pain. So yeah, man, that's what's been going on with me, and I want to say respect to the NHS, man, because I know everyone says this and that, and we all feel it. Sorry, it just did the thing, man. See, now that's not great. But anyway, we all feel it. But when you actually have to use them and you go into accident emergency and you realise that, things are like they're really doing a great job, man, keeping people separated, whether you've got COVID or not.
And that's why I clapped for them 3 times. Not every week, because sometimes there's something on the telly or I was eating my dinner. But 3 times I went when it wasn't cold or raining. I was at 3 times on my doorstep. That's how much I love my NHS. Not enough to give them enough pay, not enough to wipe out their nursing student grant debt, not enough to protect them from drunks and bad boys on a Saturday night. But 3 times I went out and clapped for a minute. Whole minute. 3 minutes.
Whole minute? I thought it was supposed to be 5 minutes.
I ain't got time for that. Busy man. I'm watching.
I'm so trying to keep a straight face, man. It's so horrible. Like the whole thing. I know.
This is like some 1950s. This is the BBC with Jonathan Prince.
It really is. It really is.
How do you do? Let me play my tune for the week, mate. Because the sun's shining. The sun is shining.
Which is why you're staying in. Sorry.
That's right. Big man with ride. She likes man with ride. Big ride.
And that song is your tune of the week. Why?
Because it's all about men, and we're going to do a little health quiz, me and you, because you're not well. You're falling apart on me, man. So I thought I'd do a little health quiz with you, and then it all ties it. Plus sunshine. When sunshine, got to get the soca music going.
So who does the song? Who's it by? What's it called?
That is a good question because I can't remember. But I will remember in a minute. Hang on, let me look.
Do you know what? Right? Oh man, I can't even laugh.
Go on.
No, I was just
Do
gonna
it,
laugh,
do it, do
but
it, do
like
it.
I like my
Oh,
jaw basically. Me and my professionalism will show you how this is done, right? So the tune for me,
slick.
for this week is a song
It-
by The Whispers, and it's called "It's a Love Thing."
But I just expected you. K-Star, make some noise! Go away, give me a yard, give me a yard!
I can't laugh, man. Sure.
No. Most of my audiences feel that way too when I do a gig.
The reason why this is my tune for the week because since the whole thing with George Floyd, there's been a lot of hate, man. Like online in general, a lot of
Yeah.
hate. I don't know. There was a football match, Man City versus Burnley,
Yep.
and someone flew a plane over the ground saying "White Lives Matter."
Yep.
I don't really want to make like every single one of our podcasts about this, but also it's brutally Johnest. So there's certain things that I feel honest about. You can't leave out of this conversation, right?
No.
And
No. Do it. Bring it.
I'm just going to say it like this. There seems to be a bit of confusion that Black Lives Matter seems to some way suggest that other lives don't. And that is not the case. That is not the case at all. I'm just putting that out there for people. When somebody says or expresses a pride for being black, it doesn't mean that they're hating white. Yeah. And when somebody flies a plane over a stadium saying White Lives Matter, it is taken as an attempt to uh, stand upon or quieten the noise made by people saying Black Lives Matter, and that shit hurts.
Do you think it would have helped, right? Because you got Black Lives Matter, All Lives Matter, White Lives Matter. But do you think it might have helped if they'd called it Black Lives Matter 2? Or do you think some people would have thought, I didn't see the first one?
Oh my days!
Black Lives Matter 2. They're back.
See that comes to grammar, innit, and how you spell the word
Yeah.
two. If it was TOO, then yes. That
And I'll tell you what they need. Like, so Burnley have banned that man, right, for life from Burnley. That ain't no punishment. Let me tell you what they should do. They should make him have an Arsenal season ticket. That would be punishment for that. He had to go watch Arsenal home and away for the rest of his life. He would see plenty of black men playing football, and he'd have to watch Arsenal. It'd be an education and a punishment at the same time.
What surprised me is that on public forums where your face is there, so let's say whether it's on Facebook and like there's an I think the Northamptonshire County Council thing, because I was born in Northamptonshire and that's how I had a look, and there's some mad racist comments on there, and someone pointed out that the comments were racist, and people cane them, like, absolutely cane them, like they're not even saying anything, they're not saying Black Lives Matter, they're saying some of these comments seem really racist, I'm quite disappointed, and that person got caned by people.
Yeah.
Now, there's a couple of things I want to mention on this, right? Number one, I started to get a little bit frustrated with all the things on Facebook. I call it Bookface, right? With all the people saying whatever they were saying. Then I realised
That's very clever. I see what you did there. It's very clever. Just swap the words around. I like that.
Bookface.
Like, I ain't got time to invent a new word. I'm just going to use the word that's already there.
Mm-hmm.
Like I might have some bolognese spaghetti for dinner. I like what you've done there.
Bolognese spaghetti, that's the ting right there, mate.
Bolognese spaghetti.
Make sure you put some
Don't even try it, mate. Come on, get back to your point.
some Atto Tom in there.
It's going to swell up. I can see it swelling already.
I can feel it. I can't even... Oh, dread. I realised that, like, no one that I know who is in any way clever, there's certain people in my life that I've met who I see as quite clever, whether academically or through life.
Yeah, thank you.
Like yourself, right? But, like, none of these people that I know who I consider clever go looking at Facebook like it's an encyclopedia for knowledge.
It's fact, mate. Facebook is fact. Fact book, I call it.
And I don't want to just put it on Facebook, man. Zuckerberg, whatever, man. You doing your damn thing. I mean, Twitter, any of these social media. I suppose people in the UK have been a little bit shocked to hear the opinion saying that the UK is quite racist, and I can see that can pain people, right? That can pain you because it's not something that you thought before people express it. But while it pains you, understand it pains me also to admit that because I live it. I'm not saying everybody's racist. I'm saying we suffer a lot of racism. So like it is difficult for me, for example, people have come speak to me in the last few weeks, having them uncomfortable conversations whereby I've got to calm myself, right? Because if someone says to me, well, I didn't think there was any issue with racism in England, that could bring about emotions in me that bring about anger, right? Because for me, that's an everyday understanding that it is there. Someone else is saying, no, it's invisible, it's not there. So I've found I've spent a lot of energy in calming myself to have those conversations because I know if I don't calm myself, I'm going to come across as an aggressive, angry black man, and
Are you
I'm not
doing
going
it
to be
now?
listened to.
Is this you being angry with me now? You've been angry black man with me right now. Because I'm not having it. I'm
Yeah.
not having it, mate. I'm not a racialist. I've got a Bob Marley album, and my next door neighbour's daughter's boyfriend used to live next door to a black man. Who weren't black, he was Spanish, but off-white. He had a hue, man.
He had a
No, what you're finding here is quite simple. It's quite simple. For a lot of people, you live in like Durham or something, you don't see a black man, right? So when you're going about your business, drinking Witherspoons on your 0-hour contract down at Pound Stretcher, and you've got no money for a mortgage, and you can't pay your bills, and you're never going to get a big car and a big house. When someone tells you that there's racism in the country, you don't see black people, you only experience of black people, so you see on the television. Well, then how do you think I'm a racist? That's it. It's that simple, right? They have to see, and it ain't their fault. It's not ignorance. Ignorance implies you know no better. This is stupidity. It's like if you live in Northamptonshire now, you cannot really not see a black person. If you live in Bedford, come on, man. So, but the fact is, if you now tell me that, I experience this on a daily basis, I can't go, no, you don't, you liar. I have to accept your take on it, like I did with Meghan Merkel. I know black people and white people who said Meghan Merkel made it up. But my thing is, if that girl felt it, it's real.
So we spoke in an earlier show about if you have a dream about a lion and a lion's chasing you, then you might clench your teeth and end up with a mash up jaw. No, if you had a dream, that was quite funny, but I can't laugh. If you had a dream about like a lion chasing you, then you might wake up sweating, your heart rate will be faster, and people would say that's not real, right? And I think the real at the moment is that when you have a dream, right, you lose all of the attachment to ego when you're in dream world, right? So there's no color of skin and rare. You pick that back up when you wake up. And I think the innocence of a child can be expressed or seen in an adult in a dream. And children don't necessarily see all of these barriers that we seem to create.
Kids, I teach them it. Got to start them young, mate.
Exactly. So just to let people out there know, if you've had some conversation in the last few weeks, or you feel like you've seen people with colour in their skin and they've been quite angered by what's going on in the last few weeks, you may feel to yourself, well, why weren't they angry before? Like, why are they all angry now? Why, when people are actually looking at their cause, are they angry? Because people are having to understand and express that these are things that have affected us and we've come almost accustomed to, almost given up on trying to fight against, right? And almost accepted these things because there was no way to do anything other than to accept them.
I've got a mate in Somerset, a black guy, adopted by white people. All his friends call him Carlton. And whenever I've been in his company, hey, how do you know Carlton? I'm like, what are you calling him Carlton for? Well, he's like Carlton or Fresh Prince. I'm like, no, he's not. And he always thought this was funny, but he now realises that actually it's been a bit of you're all right, mate, because you're like us.
You see, and the thing is, it doesn't just exist between races. I'd say within the black community there is racism. Within our community, you expressed before, within the Irish community, there's issues. Within the black community is definitely racism, right? Like, so for example, I heard somebody the other day on the radio, a guy expressing that he's very dark skinned, and other black people would say to him, "Oh, you're blick," and like Dave Chappelle does a sketch of talking about Rick James, and Rick James comes in this kind of like he's says about how dark he thinks. I'm laughing because the way Dave Chappelle does it is quite.
No, you're laughing because it is funny. Okay,
right?
It's end of. It's funny,
Do you know what I mean? And he's like, you're black like the night and all that. Do you know what I mean? Like really like cussing off Eddie Murphy and his brother Charlie Murphy and that. But what I'm saying is these things exist within communities, and at times we can laugh and joke about them. But ultimately, all that's happening now is to say, share a little love, man. Just like the Whisperers just said.
Yeah,
show a little love.
I've got to just pull you back on something here, man. Right? And maybe I'll be microaggressive. Okay, if I'll be microaggressive, I do apologise. And if I'm in some way patronising you or being condescending, again, I apologise. It's my upbringing. Anyway,
Oh, can't laugh.
in the true sense of the word, you can't go black people can be racist towards other black people. And this is where it's all going wrong. Because racism ain't about, I don't like you because you're black. That's not racism. Racism is about the institutions, the mechanisms that are put in place to prevent you reaching your potential purely because of the colour of your skin. So black people don't like white people. That's not racism. That's bigotry, right? And it's the same for Africans and people from the Caribbean, right? That's bigotry. That's not racism. And this is where white people go, yeah, but the Chinese don't like the Indians. That's fine. That's not racism. Racism is about institutions. It's about systemic behaviors, okay? So like a man ain't going to have a period, right? A man can't have a period. A black person can't be racist. That's as simple as it can be explained. If people got problems with that, put it in a box and then read it till you get bored. But this is where I think, this is where the problem comes in, okay? Because when we talk about black people, why are we saying black people? So that Libyan guy that chopped up them people in Reading on Saturday, he was a white man. No, he weren't. He was Libyan because he ain't one of us.
Mm-hmm. Create that separation, right?
Exactly. But you go out and beat someone, the African man, you're representing him. And when you're looking at this COVID coronavirus, people from Afro-Caribbean communities, Afro-Caribbean, not black, Afro-Caribbean, right? 78 out of every 100,000 deaths are Afro-Caribbean, 78, right? Black Africans, 31 out of every 100,000. So why are we saying it affects black people or BAME people different? Well, it don't. It affects Afro-Caribbean people, then it affects Africans down here. And between Afro-Caribbeans and black Africans, you know who's in the middle of that group? The Irish. More Irish people per 100,000 are dying from coronavirus than black Africans.
Wow, I didn't know that.
But,
Take your vitamin D. All of them groups, take your vitamin D, man. I'm not saying that's definitely going to help, but it should help you anyway. Just take your vitamin D.
We can put a link to this in the thing below, but people don't want to learn. They don't want to be educated. They don't want to know. We just go, black people, that's them. White people, that's us. But I'm like, put my hand up and go, hang on, being from an Irish background, I should really be with them, and Africans should be with you.
That's a very good point.
That's
a very good point. And it's not just semantics, man. I know people out there will be like, oh, it's semantics. I suppose they won't really be using them kind of words, but you know what I mean? Like,
your friends will be.
Oh, blood.
Oh, Jonathan, it's semantics, isn't it?
But yeah, man, it's not semantics at the end of the day. Like, I think people, what you just said there, people don't necessarily want to go and look. So I've had people getting frustrated because they've said on Facebook or another social media site, oh, you should learn this, and posted something. Now, whenever me and you say about something in the comments, it's always intended to say, if interested, please go check this out, right?
Yeah,
but on all these social media sites, it seems really aggressive, like, you don't know nothing, read this, right? Whenever have you ever been told you don't know nothing, read this, and then you really wish to go and read that thing? Never, because you've already been put in a place that says you are stupid, or you've already been put in that negative place on the beginning of that sentence, right? So like, if people are getting aggressive or annoyed with people not knowing stuff, private message them people. Try and take a cut out of what you're trying to show them that may interest them. But then also, when you do send it to them with love and let it fly, man. Don't worry or sit there attached to what's going to come back from you saying something. Because I've found that draining as well, man. Like, really, just act, yeah, just act with love, man. If like someone asks me something and I've got the energy to have that conversation with them, then I will have that conversation with them. But then if they choose to react in a way that I wouldn't have expected, then I have to just let that go, right? Because you've acted with love.
You got to stop calling it social media. It's anti-social media.
See, now you're starting to sound like some. You remember when we at the beginning of this, we was talking about conspiracies and things, like conspiracy of the week. So obviously, someone used to say to me, "It's tell, lie, vision." Like tell lies visually, right? And I remember years ago when people used to say that, and it was like, oh, you're a conspiracy theorist. You must be a Rasta man, rare, all this sort of stuff, right? But ultimately, that is what it is. Tell, lie, vision. Even if you're watching a film, innit? A film it's not true, is it?
Yeah. No.
And if it's not true,
but it's the whole thing about anti-social media. This is how anti-social media works, right? I'll say something like, you know what, I prefer mangoes to oranges. And then straight away, someone's going to go, oh, basically, what you're saying is you hate oranges. Why do you hate oranges? Or what about pineapples and bananas and grapefruits? You need to educate yourself, bro. And you're like, where does that come from? All I said was, I prefer mangoes to oranges. But you've got to understand as well, I think that social media, Twitter, all them things, they were invented by the little weak, weird kid who stood in the corner of the playground with no friends, right? So when we was all playing football and hanging out together, he was in the corner plotting, going, how could I create something that makes me an equal or superior to these people? That's why when you see these keyboard warriors get exposed, turns out there's some bloke who's like 36 stone, lives at home with his mum, or some girl who's like 2 stone who like lives on her own in a flat with a cat. And it's for the weak and the meek. It's their way of being keyboard warriors. And they try to persuade the rest of us that it's not acceptable to go punch them in the face. It's that simple. It's that simple.
Oh, mate.
And that's where the world is going wrong right now. Okay.
Don't really know me.